Hi, my name is Victoria Kreeft, and this is Week 10's PowerPoint presentation on the power of queer. I'm going to start with a think, pair, share, and these questions include what constitutes the concept of doing gender, what are women expected to contribute to the family's overall functioning, how do heteronormative views harm LGBTQ families, define queering in its respect to motherhood, why do many people lean on biology/biological factors to formulate a normal family model? What are the parameters around homonormative views being legitimized? What are some of the difficulties faced during single parenthood? And why is it so important to have a male role model in the family? The idea of gender. So sociological research assumes all of a person's identities align with one another. However, gender is not biologically determined, but rather socially constructed. Gender identity, behavior, and sexual orientation actually do not have to align. Gender affects our interactions with others, our personal position in the social structure, our ability to access power and resources, and our inevitable life outcomes. Doing gender. The concept of doing gender suggests that gender is something created in interaction with others, almost like our own personal performance. That being said, masculinity and femininity can transpire in different ways through varying age groups. For example, boys would maybe play with trucks at age 5, but at age 15 they'd stop interacting with toys whatsoever. And parents have their influences too. Parents tend to feel accountable for their child's gender preference, and family is viewed as an important foundation for the creation and maintenance of those gender expectations. Gender and parenting roles. In regards to parenting, men tend to take on the role of the breadwinner. So men, when they do care for their children, are typically commended, whereas women are just expected to care for their children no matter what. There's an inherent inequality among heterosexual couples, and conversely, gay couples tend to have more evenly divided responsibilities and expectations. This leads us to the concept of heteronormativity, which are the assumptions and practices grounded in the belief that heterosexuality is the norm, an individual's sex, gender, sexual orientation, and social roles are identical. In the heteronormativity views of family life, biology does prevail. Real parents are biologically related in this concept. And this concept sticks with the ideal standards of family life. No matter the occupational responsibilities of the mother, she is still expected to care for the children in what's called a second shift. Queering and the politics of sameness. Queering means to go against the way things work, and there are innate issues with how many people view LGBTQ families due to their endless comparison to heterosexual families. Removing the idea of a mother from the family is supposedly supposed to skew the entire family dynamic. Same-sex families are expected to disrupt their own lives in order to acquiesce to the heteronormativity around them. They're under constant scrutiny by other families, and they try to validate themselves by validating their experiences and relationships. For example, maybe a same-sex male couple have their children at a playground, and people are frequently stopping them and asking, "Where's the mother? Why is the mom not taking her to the playground?" Because many people assume that a mother usually is in charge of childcare, and thus would take the kid around to play and take them out on activities and things like that. A newer concept, homonormativity, has emerged to counter the heteronormative standard that has been put into place. Same-sex couples feel the need to measure up to the typical heteronormative standards by being responsible for their child's own gender performance, sexual orientation, and gender functioning. These same couples tend to socialize their children in their own respective binary, and though gender is an understood social concept, studies show that LGBTQ families prove a more positive parenting skill set, and people rely heavily on parents to explain each sex's behavior. The necessity of male and female role models. A social position is the status one has in relation to individuals and institutions. This can include employers, family, school, and the legal system as well. A mother is deemed to be a sacred term in the family unit. This is mainly due to the mother of the family being viewed as the ultimate caregiver and a guide to proper human development in the child. A common concern is that every family needs to have a male role model in order to function effectively. However, the idea of a positive male role model can vary based on cultural and personal values. For example, in Sweden, sperm donors are often more involved in the parenting process. Swedish lesbian couples view gay men as healthier male role models and thus choose them over straight male sperm donors. They believe that gay males challenge the stereotypical idea of masculinity and feel as though by choosing them as a donor, their child will learn that sexist behavior is not acceptable. Again, because they are so involved in the parenting process, they would have that influence over them. Also, the idea of male and female role models in the family unit alone assume that children don't see or rely on relationships outside of the family that can also aid in their development. For example, teachers have a great impact on children as they're growing up, not just educationally, but also with their social development and so on. Children who grow up in a home where there are no defined gender roles and responsibilities, they tend to grow up with a more diverse skill set and varying interests. They don't designate one gender to perform different responsibilities around the house and take on a more well-rounded role. This concludes the PowerPoint presentation for this week. Go ahead and answer the post-discussion quiz questions on the next few slides, and also do the in-class role-playing activity. Thank you. For the class activity, we're going to do a role-playing exercise, and let's prompt this with a recent article by the BBC. A same-sex couple is up in arms about the non-inclusivity of their child's medical forms. There's currently only 2 spaces available for parents to write their names, one for the mother and one for the father. However, this child has 2 mothers, and the parents are frustrated and confused in regards to how it should be filled out. So what I would want you to do in a pair or a group, discuss what you think you would do if you're in this couple situation. Would you list just one parent on the form, or would you think it was a big deal at all? And if so, what actions would you take to remedy the issue? Thank you.